Okay guys, in this tutorial we are going to use PHP to dynamically add array elements to a drop-down list. So let's begin by creating a form element on the page to demonstrate this. Okay, let's give this form an action attribute, and it's going to be submitted back to the same page. And let's give it a method of post. Okay, and now within this form element, we're going to create two select elements to represent our drop-down box. And the first element, we're going to give it a name of main category. Okay, and the second element, we just copy this and we're going to give it a name of subcategory. And let's give an input, a submit button, which is going to be input type submit, and a value of post. So let's render this in the browser to see how it looks. As you can see, we have two drop-down boxes. The first drop-down box are going to be our main category, and the second drop-down box are going to be our subcategories. Now, our subcategories are going to be populated based on the selected main categories. Now, the two main categories we're going to use are animals and cars, and the two subcategories are going to be types of animals and types of car mix. Okay, so let's begin. So we're going to create a class to represent this, a simple class. So we're going to say main, call the class main. Now we're going to create a constant to represent our default main category. So we're going to say constant main category is going to be defaulted to animals. Okay, now let's create our two arrays to represent our two categories. It's going to be main categories and subcategories. So we're going to say protected. It's not going to be called outside of the class, so we're going to say protected main categories is equals to array. This is going to be an associative array, animals and cars. Okay, now let's create our subcategories array. So we're going to say protected as well, subcategories is going to be equals to, this is going to be a multi-dimensional array of animals. Okay, and this animals key is going to be equals to an array of animals. So we're going to say dog, let's say cat, let's say horse, and let's say pig. Okay, and let's create our second element of this multi-dimensional array. Let's just bring this down to make it more legible. Our second element is going to be cars, and it's going to be equal to an array of cars. So it's going to be car mix. So it's going to be Honda and Honda. Let's say Toyota and Toyota. Let's say Nissan, and this is going to be Nissan. And let's just open this up, and let's say this is Ford, and this is going to be Ford. Okay, so we have our two arrays, our main category and our subcategory. subcategories. Okay, now we're gonna create two methods to display our categories. So one method to display our main categories, and the other method to display our subcategories based on the selected main categories. And these methods are going to be public, so because we're going to call them outside of the class, so we're going to say public function display main categories, and we are not going to set any parameters, okay, but we're going to say, let's just give this a little note. So, but we're going to say if is set $_post main category. So we're saying if the user submitted the form and selected a main category, so we're going to say if is set post main category, we're going to display the options based on that selected main category. Else we're going to say we're going to display our default default subcategories based on the default main category. So we're going to say else for each, we're going to run a for each loop of this main categories as key value. We're going to say if key is equals to self, to reference the constant main category, we're going to echo the option with the option as the selected option, with the, that means it's going to be with the selected attribute. We're going to say option, the value is going to be the key, and value is going to be placed here, and with the selected attribute to say that this was selected. This is the default selected main category. Else we're going to echo out the options without the default selected main category. Let's get rid of this. So let's render this in the browser to see how it, first of all we need to call it within the select element. So we need to create an object of, we need to instantiate this class and create an object. So we're going to say obj is equals to new main, a new object of the main class, and we're going to call this method within our main category select element. So we're going to say obj main categories. Okay, so now let's go to the browser and we refresh, and as you can see here, animals, cars. Okay, now if we submit, nothing is shown because we haven't populated based on the submitted main category. So now we're going to do that. So we're going to say for each of this main categories as key value, we're going to say if key is equal to self, if key is equals to posted main category, we're going to echo out. But before we did this, I did not demonstrate what would happen if we changed our default main category. So let's change this to cars, and as you can see here, it's changed to cars. That's the default main category here. But if we change it back to animals, let's go back to the browser, and it's defaulted to animals. Okay, I just wanted to demonstrate that. I didn't demonstrate that when I was explaining this for each loop here. But let's go back to this. So for each of this, so the main category was submitted. So we say for each of this main categories as key value, if key is equal to post category, meaning that was the category selected, we're gonna say we're gonna echo out the same here as the options with the selected attribute. Else we're gonna echo out the options without the selected attribute. So now, if we refresh the page and we click the post, animals is selected, cars are selected. Animals, cars. Okay, now let's render the subcategories based on the selected main category. So we're gonna say display subcategories. So we're going to say public function display subcategories, and we're not going to define any parameters, but we're going to say if is set $_post main category and $_post subcategory, then we're going to display the options based on those two posted categories. Else we're going to display the options based on the default main category. Else, so we're going to say we're going to get, first we need to get the defaulted the subcategories based on the defaulted main category. So we're going to say selected, which is going to be referred to the categories, is equals to this subcategory self main category. Okay, so this is going to be the array of subcategories based on the defaulted main category. So we're going to say for each of this, well, for each of selected as key value, we're simply going to echo out the options without any selected attribute. We're going to echo out the options. So let's demonstrate this in the browser. We need to call it. We need to call it at the bottom within the subcategory select element. So we're going to say obj represents the object of this main class, obj display subcategories. Now if we render it in the browser, as you can see here, dog, cat, horse, pig, based on the fact that animals are the default main category. However, if we go and we change the default main category to cars, we're going to see a change here, which is going to be cars, and the default is going to be automatically populated with the default subcategories based on the default main category. Okay, but if we submit, as you can see here, nothing is shown, no subcategories are shown because we have not displayed options based on submitted submitted subcategory. So now we're going to say if posted, if is set post main category, post subcategory. Now we're going to get the default main with the default subcategories based on the posted main category. So we're going to say selected is equals to this subcategories based on the posted main category. So $_post main category. So this is going to be the array of subcategories based on the posted main category. Now we're going to say for each of selected as key value, we're going to say if key is equals to $_post if key the key is equals to dollar underscore post subcategory, if key is equals to dollar underscore post subcategory, meaning that was the subcategory selected, then we're going to echo out the option the options with the selected attribute. Else we're going to echo out the options without the selected attribute. Okay, now let's render this in the browser to see how it looks. Okay, so we have cars. We click post, we have our selected cars. However, if we change this to animals and we click post, it's dynamically populating the subcategories with different animals. If we go back to cars, we click post, it's dynamically populating the subcategories with the different cars. If we click on Toyota, it's submitting with the Toyota selected. Nissan, submitted with the Nissan selected. Go back to animals, submitted. We select cat, we click post with the we submitted with the selected cat subcategory, or selected horse subcategory. Now we could use simple jQuery to submit this automatically without having to submit it automatically once the drop down box changes. Okay, so let's say script, and let's say type equals to text / JavaScript. Okay, so we're going to simple jQuery. So we're going to say document ready. Let's run a function. Now let's give the form an ID attribute of post form, and let's give this the main category an ID of main category, and let's give the subcategory an ID of subcategory. Okay, so we're gonna say select main category dot change. We're gonna run a function, and we're gonna say select the post form dot submit. So let's check this out in the browser. Okay, so if animals was selected, then it automatically submits the form, and it's populated with different animals. If we change the main category form, it's automatically submit the form and populated with a different cars. Okay, now let's say we could just copy this and do the same for subcategory. So now, you know, we change it. We change the main category is submitted with different and the different animals are automatically populated. And if we select cat, is also as you can see here, the form is also submitted if we change the subcategories. Okay, so we change it to animals, it's automatically populated. We change it to cars, it's automatically populated with different cars. We change it to animals, we automatically populate different animals. We change a different animal, it's submitted as well. Change a different car, it is submitted as well. Okay, so this is using PHP to dynamically add array elements to dynamically add array elements to a drop down list. Okay, so thank you for watching this tutorial.